I'll show you exactly how to profit trading CSGO skins 100% of the time. This method is used by all of the big traders and YouTubers you can think of. Zipel, ohnepixel, Anomaly, everybody. Ready? Let's start. You first of all need money to invest. Obviously you gotta have money to make money, right? Don't have any? Go get a job and come back then, you lazy fuck. Make yourself a budget of how much cash you're willing to invest. The more the better, because you need to aim for the most expensive items you can get your hands on. The big Chinese money is obviously in high tier items and knives like rubies, emeralds, sapphires, so you need to be as close as possible to that big pool of foreign currency. Trade one-on-one with other people, hit some people up and say you want to buy their items. Now obviously this is quite risky considering all of the scammers roaming around, and you probably will come off as a scammer at first, so suggest using a reputable and legit middleman to secure the deal. Don't deal with random Reddit middlemen, because they're pretty much all scammers. The video on the top right shows how I trolled 2 random losers who tried to steal $4,000 worth of skins from me. Do not compromise, do not be a pushover. If they're not willing to use a verified middleman, call off the deal and move on to the next guy. Your time is valuable. Don't waste it on some little bit. The price at which you buy your items is obviously very important, since it'll determine how much profit you'll actually make in the end. So you need to be very careful in your negotiation. Once you're negotiating with someone about potentially buying his item, use the cheapest buff price as the base market price and try to buy it from the seller for at most 90% of it. So if you're trying to buy a knife that's worth $1,000 on buff, offer at most $900 for it. Anything over that will either immediately make you even your money or possibly make you lose some. Now that you've managed to buy a cool looking knife, it's time to waffle Wall Street that bitch and sell it to... No, just kidding, you dumbass. It's untradeable. You gotta wait a week before doing anything. In the meantime, I'm sure we'll only see the best of what humanity has to offer. Anyway, we're a week later and the knife is finally tradable, so it's night time to sell that sucker. Assuming that your knife's price stayed identical though, you then want to put it up for sell on buff as the cheapest of its kind. Just 1 cent cheaper is still considered the cheapest option, obviously taking in consideration float, fares and stuff like that, even though you should have already done that during the buying period. Depending on the price you bought it for, you should list it up for sale for at least 10% over what you paid for it. If you pay $1,000, you want to put it up for $1,100. You get a point. Just take the price you bought it for and multiply it by 1.1, it's that easy. If you manage to scoop it up for less than 90% though, for example 89%, 88%, 87%, you obviously have a bigger margin and can therefore make more profit. As soon as your item sells, buff immediately takes a 2.5% cut, so you're already at 97.5% of your selling price. And since Buff is a Chinese website that doesn't let you withdraw to any non-Chinese bank account, you'll need to find a Buff balanced buyer that uses crypto. I can't recommend any particular person, but you can pretty easily find some people on Discord trading servers or Twitter. Try to contact multiple people and ask at which percent do they usually buy balance for. You want to go for the lowest possible percentage. 5% is usually the industry standard, so be prepared to give that much up already when cashing out. After that trade is done, you finally ended the cycle and can start over again with the profit you made. But let's see how much money you've actually made. You bought a knife that's $1,000 on buff from a random kid for 90% of the buff price. So you're minus $900 in cash but plus $1,000 in items. A week later, the price has stayed the same as when you bought it, so you put it up for sale on buff for $999. You're a lucky son of a bitch. Someone buys it at this price the same day, so you end up with $974.03 after buff takes its cuts. You then contact your buff balance buyer and he's willing to buy your entire balance for a 5% fee since you're a nobody. You guys trade and you finally end up with around $925 in your crypto wallet. Congratulations, you've made a $25 profit! Now obviously this isn't great, but this is the most boring and normal scenario out there. The CSGO market is full of uncertainties and there are thousands of opportunities to increase that profit ethically, for example through good timing, or not ethically, for example through misrepresenting an item's true value. And I'll teach you everything there is to know about the CSGO market and how to take advantage of it in my next videos.